Congressman and U.S. Army veteran Greg Steube. Congressman, thanks very much for being here this morning. Give us your reaction to all of this between the U.S. and Ukraine.
Well, Yeah, I mean, Trump is right. First of all, we've given them over $350 billion. $100 billion of that is completely unaccounted for, according to the numbers that President Trump has put out. Congress has appropriated like over $120 billion. And each time we tried to put any type of safeguards on the money that we appropriated to the Ukraine, the Democrats and Joe Biden would refuse to do that. So there's no accountability whatsoever on the money that we've sent over there. Yet on the front lines, apparently they don't have ammunition. They don't have the things that we have sent over there. Where is all of this stuff going? President Trump is very right to ask questions about that and want to have oversight about that and not want to be in an endless war in eastern Ukraine where we're basically funding. It's time for all of the other European countries to step up. Yep. And it's great for President Trump to be asking these questions. And I, quite frankly, being a military guy, thought President Zelensky was very rude and disrespectful to President Trump in that White House meeting.
Yeah, I mean, look, clearly Zelensky made plenty of mistakes, so much so that President Trump basically threw him out of the office, saying, come back when you want peace. But what do you want to say to critics who say that President Trump is allowing Putin to win? The bully is going to win. He's going to get more land, he's going to end, and he's going to be taking more land with him after starting this fight to begin with.
These are the same liberal progressives that said that in 3 days, Putin would come in and take over the whole Ukraine. Remember that? The disgraced Mark Milley and our Joint Chiefs of Staff and all of our military people, when this war first started, oh, Russia's going to be in there in 3 days and this is going to be over. And now 3 years later, $300 billion later of Americans' money, a lot of that unaccounted for, and we're still dealing with this mess that would not have happened if President Trump was still president, because Biden withdrew sanctions on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline that opened up billions of dollars into Russia, which helped fund a lot of this war effort. So most Americans didn't know where Ukraine was on a map 5 years ago, and now suddenly we are thrust into this financially, and we are not getting anything on the backside of this, and it's just a stalemate. President Trump is right to want peace, and if it means negotiating with the Russians to get that, then obviously that's what we have to do.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is promising to be ruthlessly aggressive after a Texas Ranger was killed in Mexico by driving over an improvised explosive device. A National Security Council spokesperson telling Fox News Digital, President Trump will stop at nothing to secure our border, protect our communities, and dismantle terrorist organizations. We have no word on whether the administration is considering a military response here. Congressman, what are your thoughts here?
Well, President Trump did the right thing and designated the cartels as FTOs, foreign terrorist organizations. I think Congress should back him up on that and give him all of the resources that he needs in order to fight against the cartels that are killing hundreds of thousands of Americans through fentanyl and all of the other things that they're doing. The border crossings have gone from like 250,000 a month down to 9,000 a month under President Trump. He's doing exactly what the American people wanted him to do, shutting down the border, building the wall, making our country safe and secure. But we need to give him the resources to be able to fight against that. And that's exactly what the American people want him to do. We need a safe and secure border, which means a safe and secure United States.
And you know, we've seen, the number of crossers plummet. So that's going to be one of President Trump's certainly positives tonight when he addresses the joint session of Congress. This is the event of the week tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. Republican lawmakers inviting Elon Musk, Tom Homan, Ben Shapiro, Riley Gaines, all to the address. The GOP also invited Olivia Hayes and Scott Root. They each had a family member who was killed by an illegal migrant in a drunk driving accident. But the Democrats are bringing their own guests. Some of them are skipping the speech altogether, and others are inviting former federal employees who say they've been let go by the Trump administration with all the DOGE cuts. Congressman, what should we expect tonight?
Well, I expect him to start with the border. I think he absolutely should start with that. That is the #1 issue affecting Americans. And that's exactly what he's gone in and changed through executive order and the things that we've put in place to be able to protect against that and protect our country. I think he's going to talk about women and girls in sports, my bill that passed the House. He did an executive order on that a couple of weeks ago, saying that biological men can't compete in women's sports. I think he's going to hit all of these big ticket items that he talked talked about on the campaign trail that he has already delivered for on the American people. Energy independence, all of these things, I think he's going to hit them all. And of course, the Democrats are going to try to complain that cutting wasteful spending is not what they want, because they like wasteful spending. We're $36 trillion in debt, and we have to cut wasteful and fraudulent spending in our government.
Now, are you worried about all of these spending cuts potentially leading to a recession? Now there's new growth worries. As you know, markets were down sharply yesterday on the tariffs and on this idea that all this cuts happening could, in fact, induce a recession. Now we're expecting a contraction in the first quarter.
I mean, your last segment, you hit on the tariffs, and I think that was a large reason why the market reacted to that. But we have to cut spending. We are $36 trillion in debt. I've only been in Congress for 6 years. When I first got elected, we were $20 trillion in debt. We put $16 trillion on the debt. We are running, just in the last 6 years, we're running a $2.5 to $3.5 trillion deficit every year. Our country and our economy can't handle that. The Treasury can't handle that. The American people can't handle that. We have got to get our fiscal house in order in Washington. And if that means a short-term pain for the country, then we're going to have to walk through that together to ensure that we put ourselves on a fiscal prudent path going into the next 10 years.
At least half a dozen Senate committee chairmen, meanwhile, are reportedly urging Majority Leader John Thune to rewrite the budget instead of moving forward with that newly passed House budget. There's growing frustration over the House's consideration of a year-long government funding bill as well, Congressman, which could cut defense spending. And you've got a House Democrat super PAC launching new ads in 23 congressional districts attacking Republicans over Medicaid cuts. So if you all do not fix this by the middle of this year, you're going to have problems in terms of the midterm elections, aren't you, Congressman? You got to get the tax cuts extended. You've got to get Medicaid, cut out the fat, but not cut out the muscle. And you've got lots of nitpicking by the Democrats.
Yeah, we've got to get reconciliation done. We've already passed that bill. It's sitting in the Senate. The president has endorsed the House plan, the one big beautiful bill. I asked the Senate to pass that out because, Maria, think about it. If they change anything, it's got to come back to the House. You know how hard it is to get all of us together and united on a single bill and push that through the process. So get the reconciliation budget bill, the resolution to the president's desk, get that signed so we can start working on the tax package for the American people. We have to start working on that in earnest for it to impact individuals early next year. It's going to take time for that to impact, and we do not want 20% tax raises on our small businesses in America. We don't want every American to impact tax raises if this bill does not pass by the end of the year. So this is stuff that I know the president wants to get done right away. Congress wants to get done right away. We all need to come together and get it done.
All right. We will be watching your work, Congressman. It's good to see you this morning. Thank you so much,
Yeah, you too.
Congressman Greg Steube, this morning. And don't